Hello guys and welcome back to Patch Recap. Been a bit not doing this for a while, but now I'm back. Got a bunch of stuff sorted out, so it's time for another Patch Recap. Actually, this is going to be the last one of Season 5 and also the first one in 2019. That's pretty lucky. Patch Recap, just to do a little refresh. I just go over the patch, we upload this video when the game is patching. And then you guys can come here, watch patch recap, kind of get reminded on what changed, because it has been 16 days ago since the patch show. So it's always good to get a bit of a reminder before you go into ranked, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to play a guard that just got nerfed, although there's no nerfs in this patch, which is pretty impressive. So I'm going to go ahead and say you should definitely also check out Mr. Blues. He's the guy that makes these infographics. Working together with him, he provides me with this awesome backdrop, I guess you can say. Go follow him on his social platforms and let's dive into patch recap. So, first guard that has gotten a buff is going to be Arachne. Now, Arachne's old. I guess Hyris kind of felt like it needed a buff, and I mean, sure, yeah, I can see Arachne needing a buff at least. I don't think she's very competitively viable. So she's getting a buff that is more oriented towards a team fight, which is pretty goddamn bad right now. So Arachne now creates a 25 unit radius area of web that lasts for 5 seconds wherever she lands. Enemies in this area are slowed by 25%, and Arachne gains 40% movement speed and is immune to slows while in the web. Although this web does not stack with her third ability, which is the web. So she lands and she makes like a little 25 radius circle, I guess, web where everyone just gets slows, and she goes super speedy, lasts 5 seconds. Pretty useful in a team fight, I think, especially in the jungle. If you just jump down, you can like cut off a whole corridor with a perma slow that gives you movement speed. It's definitely going to help out a lot in team fighting, so I think this is the right approach to fixing Arachne. You're not adding damage, you're not adding like anything cheese, you're actually giving her team fight benefits, which I think is super strong, so pretty happy about that. This one I'm more happy about though, because Hell got buffed, and we all know I'm Hell main. I'm a Hell main. At least I like to think I am, but they increased basically just buffed her passive quite a bit. So her power stance, now she gets 10 more power per level. Before it went from 20 to 60, now it goes from 30 to 70. The dark stance, power aura also got buffed. Again with 5 this time, so before it went from 10 to 30, now it goes from 15 to 35. Light stance wise, they increased her protection self buff from 5 to 25 before, now it goes 13 to 25. So you don't have more protection late, you just have more protection early on, which is actually pretty strong, I think. And then they increased light stance protection aura from 2.5 to, it went from 2.5 to 12.5, now it goes from 6.5 to 12.5. So again, it's better early on. So this makes Hell a better early on guard. However, she's still gonna struggle in lane because she only gets this new benefit whenever she puts a point into her ult at level 5. So at level 5, Hell is gonna be a bit stronger because she has more protections, has a bit more power. I think this is more than anything just a buff to try and help Hell like actually getting through the laning phase, and then also trying to make her ult a bit more valuable. Because I don't really think, well, I actually max my ult a lot on Hell, but I don't think that's what you're supposed to do. I think it's way better maxing the 2. So go ahead and max your 2 on Hell, but from next patch you can definitely consider putting points in your 4. At least do it at level 5. It's always good, also for the MP5. Susano also got a buff. They adjusted the pre-fire time on his ult so that the Typhoon started deploying immediately upon fire. This will cause the Typhoon to reach its fully charged state sooner. Alright, so Typhoon like just charges up faster. Oh well, it deploys instantly, which means that the charge up is faster, right? 4 got a buff. I guess I can mention Susano buff. I think it's fine, although they might have to be a bit careful. We'll see where he lands in the meta. 4 Tectonic Rift, his wall. They decreased the mana cost from 75 to 60 now at all ranks, so 15 mana off that. And they also decreased the cooldown. Before it was 17 flat. Now it goes from 17 to 15. So I guess this is trying to bring 4 a bit more utility and just make him up pair. 4 is still a decent guard, but he's definitely not quite on level with other guards in the meta right now, so I think that's fine buffing 4. Also, Adapt King 4 might come back, who knows. Xingtian got a buff. This is definitely the biggest buff of the patch. Arguably Arachne's buff is also really big, but this is kind of it. So his one, it completely changed the way it works, kinda. So before you put points in it, and the duration like kind of increased. So it went from like 1 to 4 seconds, and now it's just 4 seconds at all ranks. However, that also means that they are going to decrease the damage done from basic attacks. Before it was 30 to 50, now it's 20 to 50. So it does less early on, because obviously it sticks longer early on. And then they decrease the damage tick from 3 per second, and now it goes from 1 to 3 per second. So you're actually doing a bit more damage now early on. But most importantly, you're applying your passive on the one. Well, not your passive, but the passive, the one where the enemy gets like worse attack, power, whatever. They didn't touch on that. Oh yeah, they did touch on that, but it's still 20% damage done from basic attacks, but it's for 4 seconds now instead of 1 second of 30%. So I think Xingqian is going to be pretty contested in duo, maybe. This could make him a really good support, because you can just throw that on the ADC, and that guy is not going to be doing a lot of damage for 4 basic attacks, which is quite a bit. And Whirlwind of Rage and Steel now deals damage to enemies in the rages, even if they have cleansed the grab. Increased movement speed while turning his ability by 25. So it still takes 1 year to wind up Xingqian's ult, but at least you're doing damage now if someone get cleansed or beats or whatever. So that's pretty nice. And also there's some more movement speed, so now you're a fast dishwasher. What's it even called? I don't even remember the meme. Biggest thing about this patch, by far, King Arthur. He looks awesome. He has like 8 abilities, 9 possible combos without the ult. It's kind of crazy. So I actually haven't played King Arthur myself. Went out of my way. Not really. Just probably did what I should be doing for all these patch recaps. But I've watched some gameplays with King Arthur to kind of get an understanding of where he is. So King Arthur has his passive, which is called Steadfast. Each time King Arthur's abilities damages a guard, he gains a stack of Steadfast, reducing damage he takes and increasing the rate at which he builds energy. This additionally, King Arthur does not benefit from attack speed. Bonus attack speed instead increases the rate at which he builds energy. So the damage mitigation is 1.5% per stack, the bonus energy gain is 25% per stack, the duration is 15 seconds, and the max stack count is 4. So you can actually get 100% bonus energy gain, and 6% damage mitigation at full stacks, and the attack speed conversion is 33% of your attack speed is gonna be going into your energy gain. And energy is kind of the big thing about King Arthur. Allows him to like do his combos, specifically in his ult. It's good to build up your energy. I guess it's also worth mentioning, whenever King Arthur like basic attacks, he kind of leaps toward the enemy. And from what I've seen, now I might be wrong, it feels like his basic attack is 1-1-1, so he doesn't have any AA chain. Although he has different animations, you're just getting hit like 1-1-1. It's not like I called it where she goes bum 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 bum. You know, I don't know if I even know what I'm saying. Hopefully you guys get the idea. Anyway, his first ability, which is like 2 abilities, is called Overhead Slash. Standard. King Arthur deals a devastating overhead blow in melee range that creates a slashing attack that travels forward. Enemies hit in melee range take 50% increased damage. This is going to be a wave clear, okay? Now the combo stand of this is that King Arthur swipes slow, crippling and damaging enemies that are stuck. The slash damage it goes from 60 to 280, 60% of physical power. Combo damage 60 to 300, 60% of your physical power. Cripple duration is 1.25 seconds. Energy gain is 3. Cooldown 14 seconds, and it costs 35 to 55 mana. I guess it's worth noticing as well. Every time King Arthur uses one ability, to what I've been like to my knowledge, is that let's say he's gonna use his not one in his non-combo stance, then he has to use a combo ability on his next attack, as far as I'm aware. Maybe the 15-second duration Steadfast has something to do with that. So you can't just spam all your normals and then swap over, because you get swapped over to combo stance as soon as you use one of your normal abilities, I guess you can say, right? He has a pretty cool like cooldown thing, just like Hell, Uller. You can see your cooldowns in your combo stance and your normal stance as well, so it's pretty good. His second ability is called Battle Stomp or Uppercut. He kind of like stomp his feet in the ground. It looks pretty troll. So the standard edition of this is King Arthur stomps on the ground with heavy force, causing enemies around him to take damage and become slowed. In the combo stance, King Arthur charges forward, stopping on first guard hit. At the end of the charge, King Arthur unleashes an uppercut, knocking up enemies into the air. So the stomp damage, where it like kind of stomps his foot, is 40 to 140, 40% of physical power. The slow is 20 to 40%. Slow duration is the big one here. It's a 2.5 second slow, which is a lot, because that's kind of how fast King Arthur is able to do his combo. It means you're slow for that whole duration. The uppercut damage of the combo stance is going to be 50 to 230, so it actually does quite a bit more damage. 40% of your physical power. Energy gain is 4, cooldown 14. The cost goes from 40 to 60 mana. All the way voice cracked now as well. His third ability, Twin Cleave or Blade Storm in combo stance, is standard stance, I guess. King Arthur unleashes 2 cleave attacks while charging forward. Enemies hit by a cleave takes damage and have their protections reduced. Combo, King Arthur swings Excalibur. That's really embarrassing. I don't know how to pronounce that. Excalibur around him, charging forward and damaging enemies 5 times before winding up a final strike that deals more damage. King Arthur is immune to knock up for the duration. It kind of looks like he's doing the Xing Chang ult, but just less so, I guess, and it kind of does less damage. The cleave damage on the standard one goes 35 to 135. Remember, this is going to hit twice though, so it's actually 270 if you hit twice. Protection set is 7 per cleave. Spin damage, this is now his combo, goes from 10 to 90, 15% of your physical power. Final damage goes from 30 to 230, 15% of physical power. King Arthur is also knock-up immune. That's the pretty important thing, so you can use this as a lot of counterplay. You can kind of use your free in your combo. You want to use that quite a lot to avoid knock-ups. He has pretty good matchups into certain guards because he can get his knock-up immunity off. Like I've seen King Arthur specifically in solo, if that's where you want to play him, probably where he could be played the most. I think he's more of a solo than anything. This boxer, he works really well against a guard like Serb or breaking Xing Chang. Is going to be a good solo in again, because you can kind of avoid a lot of what they do. So definitely look out to combo with your Blade Storm. The ult is pretty goddamn cool. Now it's called Sundering Strike, and the other ult is called Excalibur's Wrath. No, that's the combo ult. I want to mention, if you use one cooldown in your standard stance, that doesn't mean that same ability is going to be on cooldown in your combo stance. So it's like Hell and Uller, you can just swap, and just because you just used the one in Uller stance, that doesn't mean you're not going to be able to throw your axe. Alright? It's the same concept here. You need 35 energy to do the standard ult. King Arthur winds up a massive jab, charging forward slightly before striking. Enemies hit by this jab are stunned. So this is kind of weird. It looks like an Ao Kuang ult where he like kind of charges forward, but the actual stun is a lot longer than the actual charge forward. So you can kind of, it's like a long range stun. I don't think there's like, it's like an Uller X, but like a lot wider, and you kind of dash forward in the way AO does as well with the sword. His other ult is called Excalibur's Wrath, and that's his combo. It takes 80 energy. King Arthur's charges forward with Excalibur drawn. If King Arthur hits an enemy guard, he launches them into the air and unleashes a barrage of 6 attacks. This is kind of like a Nashor ult, although they're just not all the way up in the air. After which he launches them back to the ground, dealing damage to the target and any enemy below. Works like a combo ult. You fall down, you're in that area, you kind of get like slightly knocked up as well, I think, and you take some damage. Maybe he does knock up. I think so. Launches back to the ground, doing damage and any no, okay, so he doesn't knock you up. That's just my dream right there. The jab damage goes from 100 to 340. Pretty good base damage, but it is an ult, right? 65% of physical power. Stun duration is only 1 second though. And then the other one is pretty funny. Damage per hit. That's the combo now. Goes from 10 to 50. He hits you 6 times, remember. So it's 300 base damage. 10% of physical power and 1.5% of your target's maximum health. That's pretty busted. Landing damage goes 60 to 360. 50% of physical power and 5 to 13% of your target's maximal health. So if you hit someone with your combo ult, that's a broken part. Because now you're doing 660 base damage. You're doing, what is that going to be? You're doing 22% of the maximum health, and you have scaling on top of that. So realistically, your ult is going to hit a tank for like 1200, 1000, I guess. Of course, Prot's playing as well. I don't think it's true damage, which is pretty goddamn good because that would have been very strong. The cooldown is 20 seconds and it costs 35 or 80 energy, as we talked about. The reason why it's so low cooldown is it takes some time to build up your energy, right? Like you gain energy when you use any other of your free abilities and basic attacks. So it's kind of like the same idea as Cocolan, although rather than transforming, you're buying energy for your ult, and then it has a limit, so you don't just like gain energy super fast and you get 2 ults off in 10 seconds, which I don't even think is possible. But yeah, King Arthur looks cool. I kind of like him. Also really looking forward to Merlin. It's gonna be, I don't know if it's next patch or the patch after, like 6.2. I'd assume it's like 6.2. We'll see. So that's hype. That's really hype. Really good guard. I think this kind of shows like now Hi-Rez hasn't released a guard for like over a month, right? And this guard just seems so much more well thought out than a few of the latest guards. I think Hera is still pretty cool and all, but King Arthur is definitely on a special kind of cool compared to her. So, skins. We have Cosmic Conqueror Hercules. He's gonna be in the Cosmic bundle. Looks pretty neat. It kind of looks like, well, who is it? The Chernobog that has the skin as well, I think. Brimstone Cerberus. It's like fire dragons. I like it. Glacial Gaze Medusa is gonna be a new skin. Dragon Keeper Discordia, that's very, very cute. Her ult is like a giant thing. It looks nutty. Blight Guardian Athena. It's kind of like an elf, weird underground elf. I don't know, man. Looks pretty nuts. Excalibur's Light King Arthur. That's his recolor. Actually, a really, really good recolor, at least from the card art. That looks super, super good. And then you have Master Skin for King Arthur as well. Yeah. Then we're gonna quickly go over some of the miscellaneous. You guys always want to know what new things are going into the chest, so we always gotta go over that. The new cosmetic items, first of all, are gonna be the Pendragon Ward skin, Pendragon Recall skin, Cosmic Fountain Fix, Cosmic Jump Stamp, Brimstone Announcer Pack, and Draconic Loading Screen. Fantasy Point Store, the new skins in this one is gonna be Amazon Athena, Iris Ymir, I guess, and Worm Slayer Uller. In the awesome chest, there's going to be Riptide Poseidon, Sunny Chibi Amaterasu, Shadow Claw Bastet, and Warp Tech Janus. So some pretty good skins in the chest now. So yeah, if you have some extra FP points or something, that's it. I think it's worth saying as well that Hi-Rez is definitely fixing a lot of bugs. Obviously, I think we can all agree that the UI is definitely not in its best state right now. But I think they're working very hard on fixing that. So let's just pray. That's going to be patch recap 5.24. I'll see you guys at 6.1. Hopefully you guys will see my videos more than that. I wish. Let's just end this video here before I get all soppy and annoying. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any feedback for me. If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and press the bell. And have fun playing King Arthur. Until next time, everyone. Peace out.